Hi, welcome to Oscillator DJ School. My name is Josh Tan, and today we'll be looking at designing a original bass sound with Ableton's operator. So when we're looking at the operator, we can actually imagine it divided into 8 individual shells. On the left side here, we have the oscillator shells, which is A, B, C, and D. And on the right, we have a LFO, filter, pitch, and global shell. What we'll do is we'll go right into our oscillator A, and we'll set the waveform to a sine wave. To change that, you click this drop down menu and choose it from the options here. Now you can choose from 22 different presets, but the reason why we're going with the sound is actually because it registers the best when it comes to low frequencies. Now we can actually begin designing our bass sound. What we can do is actually bring in another oscillator to layer on top of the first one. We'll go to this oscillator B and slowly bring in the levels. I've actually laid out a bass line already so I can play it, and as I tweak around inside the operator, you can hear what I'm doing. So I'll play it for you so you can hear it now. So it's a very simple bass line here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the levels of oscillator B, and it's going to be running a sine wave as well. And so you can hear it as I bring it in. Cool. Now I'm going to change the waveform and just try to see what it sounds like if I do a square wave. The cool thing about Operator is that you can change the routing options for how the oscillators affect one another. If you look at the bottom right here in the global shell, you can see that all the oscillators are feeding downwards into oscillator A, which is kind of why the sound that we were just hearing was kind of distorted. What we'll do is we'll actually just choose the last option here. So that way all the oscillators are running individually of one another and they won't be affecting what the other oscillators sound like. So if I play the bass line we have here, as I bring in oscillator B, it's not going to transform the sound at all, but it's just going to play on top of it. So now we can just add a little bit of character to our sound. The first thing we'll do is we'll just add a little bit of a tail end to some of our oscillators to kind of give it a bit more of a longer a release time. We'll go to our second oscillator, and right on the envelope here, we'll increase the release time to maybe about 1 second for now. And what this will do is actually increase the amount of time for the sound to actually fade off. So that when we play our actual pattern, so now we can actually hear the tail end of that square is just trailing off a little bit longer. And what I'll do is I'll lower the levels for the oscillator A so it's not so overpowering. And I'll even add a little bit of a release to that as well. So by adding a little bit of a release to the end of the sound, we can actually add some character to our oscillators. With the filter shell, we can now adjust the sound a little bit further. So when we play our bass line here, turning the frequency will adjust the cutoff. And depending on which kind of bandpass we choose here, we have a low pass, bandpass, high pass, and a notch. And these will affect the sound and how the frequency, how the filter works. The resonance will also change the peak of that cutoff as well too. And to visually see it, you can actually go into the filter on the center display and see how that works in relation with one another. Now that we've covered the basic layout of Operator, as well as showing you how to use some of the oscillators and a little bit of the filter shells, let's just have some fun and add a little bit of a beat and go through some of the other functions as I tweak around. this is playing, I'm going to be adjusting with some other parameters to kind of show you a little bit more of the functionalities that the operator has available to you. With the shaper in the filter, you can actually change how hard, or you can add a little bit more grit and distortion to your sound. And I'll also add in the LFO, the low frequency oscillator, to give it more movement as well. Turn off the re-triggering of the oscillators so that they actually play without having to reset. Let's see what happens if I add another oscillator. So today we've covered the essentials of Operator. With these tweaks in mind, you'll be well on your way to creating your own original patches. Thanks for watching.